The United Kingdom faces a looming crisis. Its pension system, once a beacon of stability, is now grappling with unprecedented challenges. An aging population, coupled with rising living costs and stagnant wages, has placed immense strain on the system. This has led to growing anxieties about financial security in retirement, particularly for younger generations. The current trajectory is unsustainable, demanding urgent and comprehensive reform to avert a full-blown crisis. The UK pension system, once a source of national pride, is now riddled with cracks, threatening its very foundation. These flaws are not mere technicalities. They represent fundamental weaknesses that undermine the system's ability to deliver on its core promise: a secure and dignified retirement for all. One of the most glaring flaws is the shift from defined benefit to defined contribution pension schemes. Defined benefit schemes, once the norm, provided a guaranteed income stream based on an individual's final salary and years of service. This provided predictability and peace of mind, allowing individuals to plan for their retirement with confidence. However, the rising costs associated with these schemes, coupled with increasing life expectancies, have led many employers to abandon them in favor of defined contribution schemes. Defined contribution schemes, while seemingly offering more flexibility, shift the burden of investment risk entirely onto the individual. Instead of a guaranteed income, retirees receive a pot of money whose value is subject to the vagaries of the market. This exposes them to significant financial insecurity, particularly during times of economic turbulence. The 2008 financial crisis and the more recent market volatility serve as stark reminders of the risks inherent in this model. While Labour's pension proposals touch upon various aspects of the system, they fail to adequately address the most fundamental issue of all: the inadequacy of the state pension. The state pension, meant to be the bedrock of retirement security, has been eroded over decades, leaving millions struggling to make ends meet in their later years. The current state pension, while technically exceeding the poverty line, provides a meager existence. It barely covers the cost of basic necessities, leaving little room for anything beyond mere survival. This forces many retirees to rely on means-tested benefits, trapping them in a cycle of poverty and dependence. Labour's pledge to review the state pension age, while welcome, does not go far enough. The current trend of increasing the state pension age, while seemingly justified by rising life expectancy, disproportionately impacts those in manual or physically demanding jobs who are often unable to work into their late 60s or beyond. Moreover, it fails to account for the widening health inequalities within society, with those from disadvantaged backgrounds experiencing shorter life expectancies and poorer health in later life. Instead of tinkering with the retirement age, a bolder approach is needed: a substantial increase in the state pension itself. Recognizing the growing pension crisis, the Labour Party has unveiled a set of proposals aimed at strengthening the system and improving retirement outcomes. These proposals, while containing some positive elements, fall short of the transformative change needed to address the systemic flaws outlined above. One of Labour's flagship proposals is the expansion of auto-enrolment. This includes lowering the earnings threshold for participation, bringing in younger workers from the age of 18, and extending coverage to more gig economy workers. While these measures would undoubtedly expand access to workplace pensions, their impact on overall retirement income is likely to be modest. The proposed increases to minimum contribution rates, while welcome, remain insufficient to generate substantial retirement savings, particularly given the low interest rate environment. Another key plank of Labour's plan is to encourage pension funds to invest in UK growth, including infrastructure projects and startup companies. The aim is to generate higher returns for pension savers while also boosting the domestic economy. However, this strategy carries significant risks. Investing in UK growth, a risky gamble with retirement savings. Labour's proposal to redirect pension funds towards UK growth initiatives, while presented as a win-win solution, raises serious concerns about risk, governance, and the prioritization of short-term economic objectives over long-term retirement security. While investing in infrastructure and innovative startups can generate returns, it is inherently riskier than more diversified investment strategies. Pension funds, entrusted with securing the retirement incomes of millions, should prioritize prudence and risk mitigation over speculative ventures. Directing investments based on political priorities rather than sound financial principles could expose pension savers to unnecessary volatility and potential losses, jeopardizing their financial well-being in retirement. Furthermore, the notion of using pension funds to boost the UK economy raises concerns about mission creep and the potential for political interference. Pension funds should be managed solely in the best interests of their beneficiaries, with investment decisions driven by fiduciary duty and sound financial principles, not short-term political expediency. The experience of other countries that have experimented with similar policies offers cautionary tales. In some cases, it has led to cronyism, with politically connected firms favored over more deserving investments. In others, it has resulted in poor returns, jeopardizing the retirement savings of ordinary citizens. Instead of gambling with people's retirement savings, a more prudent approach would be to create a more stable and predictable investment environment that benefits all stakeholders. Expanding auto-enrolment, widening the safety net, or papering over the cracks. Labor's proposal to expand auto-enrolment, while superficially appealing, risks being a case of too little, too late. While increasing participation in workplace pensions is a laudable goal, it does not address the fundamental inadequacy of the current system. Lowering the earnings threshold, and including younger workers, are positive steps, widening the safety net to capture those most at risk of being left behind. However, without a significant increase in contribution rates, the impact on actual retirement income will be negligible. The current minimum contribution rate of 8%, with only 3% coming from employers, is simply not enough to build a substantial retirement nest egg, especially in an era of low interest rates and stagnant wage growth. Moreover, focusing solely on expanding auto-enrollment ignores the plight of those excluded from the formal workforce altogether. The self-employed gig economy workers and those in precarious employment often lack access to workplace pensions altogether. For these individuals, even an expanded auto-enrollment scheme offers no solution. Instead of tinkering at the margins, a bolder approach is needed. Beyond incrementalism, a bolder vision for pension reform. Labor's pension proposals, while well-intentioned, suffer from a lack of ambition. They represent a continuation of the incrementalist approach that has characterized pension policy for decades, tinkering at the margins without addressing the fundamental flaws at the heart of the system. To truly avert the looming retirement crisis, a bolder, more transformative vision is required. This vision must begin with a recognition that retirement security is not just an individual responsibility, but a societal imperative. A just and equitable society ensures that all its citizens, regardless of their employment history or income level, can enjoy a dignified retirement after a lifetime of work. This requires a fundamental shift in perspective, moving away from the current model of individual responsibility towards a more collective approach that emphasizes social solidarity and shared risk. Instead of relying on a patchwork of private savings schemes, vulnerable to market fluctuations and administrative complexities, we need a system that provides a universal, guaranteed basic income for all retirees. This could take the form of a significantly enhanced state pension, set at a level that reflects the true cost of living and provides a genuine safety net against poverty. This would require a commitment to increased public spending funded through a fairer and more progressive tax system that ensures those with the broadest shoulders contribute the most. Towards a collective future rethinking risk and responsibility. The current pension system, with its emphasis on individual responsibility and market-based solutions, has demonstrably failed to deliver retirement security for a significant portion of the population. It is time to embrace a more collective approach, one that recognizes the shared responsibility of employers, individuals, and the state in ensuring a dignified retirement for all. This requires a fundamental rethink of how we manage risk and responsibility in the context of retirement savings. The current model, which places the onus on individuals to navigate complex financial markets and shoulder the burden of investment risk, is inherently unfair and unsustainable. Instead, we should explore models that pool risks and resources collectively, providing greater security and predictability for retirees. One such model is the Collective Defined Contribution (CDC) scheme, which combines elements of defined benefit and defined contribution plans. In a CDC scheme, contributions are pooled and professionally managed, with benefits paid out as a regular income stream, similar to a defined benefit scheme. However, unlike traditional DB plans, CDC schemes do not guarantee a specific level of benefits, instead adjusting payouts based on the performance of the underlying investments. Another promising approach is the sovereign wealth fund model, where a portion of national wealth is set aside to provide a social dividend or basic income for all citizens, including retirees. A call to action: securing dignified retirements for all. The UK's pension system stands at a crossroads. The current path, characterized by incremental tweaks and a reliance on inadequate private savings, leads towards a future where millions face the prospect of poverty and hardship in their later years. This is not only morally unacceptable, but also economically unsustainable. We need a bold new vision for retirement security, one built on the principles of adequacy, universality, and shared responsibility. This requires a fundamental shift in perspective, moving away from the current model of individual responsibility towards a more collective approach that prioritizes social solidarity and shared risk. This is not a utopian dream, but a necessity, both for the well-being of current and future generations and for the long-term health of our economy and society. A society that fails to provide for its elderly is not only unjust, but also short-sighted, undermining social cohesion and eroding the very foundations of our shared prosperity. The time for complacency is over. We need a national conversation about retirement security, one that engages citizens, policymakers, and experts from all walks of life. We need to challenge the status quo, think outside the box, and explore innovative solutions that can deliver a future where everyone can look forward to retirement with dignity and security. This is not just a matter of economics, but a matter of fundamental fairness. It is about honoring the contributions of those who have worked hard and contributed to society throughout their lives. It is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, can enjoy the fruits of their labor and live their later years in comfort and dignity. The task ahead is not easy, but it is essential. The choices we make today will determine the kind of society we want to live in tomorrow. Let us choose wisely, and let us choose to build a future where everyone can retire with dignity and security.